Hello and welcome back to my channel. Another Saturday morning, another slimming world and another rainy day. Should be used to it now, but it is so cold in Nottingham today. We just left group and drove down to Marks and Spencer's to do some food shopping, and I only had a fleece with me, and we had a bit of a dash across from where you can park to Marks and Spencer's, and I'm freezing. I mean, we just banged the central heating up when we walked in, because after a quick trip to Marks and Spencer's and then we flew down to Tesco for a few bits, I'm so cold it feels like February. Anyway, I'm going to go straight into my results and tell you what I did this week, and then talk about something that's been of interest to me over the last few days. It's been a good week. I've had a really nice week food-wise. I haven't had any major ups, I haven't had any major downs in my life, and I haven't had any major ups and downs in my food. I went out for lunch last Saturday, as I said I was, and actually I'm going to be really honest with you and say I've been going to this restaurant since 1986, and it's the first bad meal I've ever had. And when I say bad meal, I don't mean it was all their fault. Some of it was my fault. When I got there, I decided to start with a goat's cheese salad, and I don't know why, but in my head, goat's cheese, feta, I eat organic feta, which is goat's and sheep's milk. So when it said goat's cheese salad, I was thinking feta, and it didn't say feta, so it was just in my head. Well, it came, and apparently it looked the most beautiful plate of food, and it was on bruschetta bread, or toasted, and I took one mouthful, and it was like, I don't like it. And I don't know what it is. Joe likes really funky goat's cheeses, don't you?
Yeah.
Really, the funkier the better. He's happy. But when this goat's cheese was on this bit of brioche and all over this really beautiful salad, it wasn't just goat's cheese, it was hot goat's cheese. And you might as well have given me arsenic if you'd have seen the look on my face, because my friend was laughing at me. She went, "I take it you don't like that." I said, written all over my face. Anyway, the head waiter came over and he said, "Is there a problem?" And I just said, "I just don't like it. It's not your fault, I just don't like it." So he offered to bring me something else instead, and there was king scallops and all sorts of things, but I just couldn't get rid of the taste of this goat's cheese. So I opted to just have some chili focaccia bread and munched on that, because it was really like a salt crust on it, and it got rid of the taste of the goat's cheese. And then for my main course, I ordered lamb, and it was like a lamb, I don't know, steak type thing. But it was 20 quid for this piece of lamb, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you it was that. Can you see that big? That big.
Oh.
It was that big. And it was as tough as old boots. And same head waiter, and it was a bit like, oh, I feel really bad, because I don't like to complain, but I've also learned, now I'm 61, coming on 62 years old, that if you eat a crap meal and pay for it, you're only going to go home and moan to your friends. You know? Let's face it, would we go into a good dress shop and buy a dress with the hem hanging down? Would we go into HMV and buy a CD that had a big scratch across it? No, we wouldn't. And there are ways of complaining, and I'm learning, and I'm getting better at this, Richard, you'll notice. I used to be a bugger. I used to just like let rip. But there are ways of complaining and saying, this is not acceptable for the amount of money I'm paying for it. If I went into a charity shop and I found a beautiful dress, but its hem was hanging down, I'd think, that's a good buy. I can get that hem taken up. I can, you know, take it to my dressmaker, or most people will be able to do it themselves. That's not a problem when you're buying a dress in somewhere like that. But if I was walking into a good boutique and paying £100 for a dress, I wouldn't do it with its hem hanging down. So I'm like, now I won't accept bad food. So I told them, I said, you know, do you prefer honesty? And they said, yeah. And I said, like, your lamb's tough. I mean, I can cook lamb that's not tough as that. And they were really nice about it, and they said, oh, we'll give you a free dessert. And they did. They gave me and my friend a free dessert. Well, they said they had. But when she paid the bill, and then when we were discussing it afterwards, we realised we'd actually paid for the desserts, which we should have noticed at the time, but we didn't. So it was one of those meals where, yeah, I ordered a starter. I didn't like it. That was one of those things, you're going to try things, and the old me, you know, the old me would have ate it, because it didn't matter whether I liked it or not, it was edible, and I would have eaten anything, because I just ate for the sake of eating. The new me is much more discerning, and I don't have to finish. Even if it's a plate full of food that I like, today I don't have to finish it. It's not compulsory. I can stop if I've had enough. So I did have the main course, and I did have a dessert, which was fondant chocolate thing with pistachio ice cream. But again, it wasn't huge. So that was that. I was not perfect on plan for the rest of the day. I was on plan again from Sunday morning and right through to Friday night. Went to school. Went to group this morning and got a £1 gain. So I think that is a really, really fair result for the food that I'd consumed this week. The other thing I'm into at the moment, and this is not me at all, but there's a drink called Monster. Is it an energy drink, Joe?
Yeah.
And there's a sugar-free version. And I was trying to drink more cold drinks. And I was trying to drink water. Honestly, I was trying to drink water, and I just can't do it. I hate the stuff. I know God invented it, and it was invented before any of these other fizzy pops and squashes, but it just doesn't go down. I wish I could just drink, like when I was a teenager, I could neck a pint of lager. I wish I could just neck a pint of water, but I can't do it. Just can't do it. So a few times this week I've had one of these sugar-free Monster drinks. Well, I don't know which one I've had. The orange one.
The orange one.
The orange one. It's not fizzy. I can drink that. So, but having said it, and actually, I'll own it, I've done it, I don't want to make a habit of it. And I'll never have more than one in a day. Is it the caffeine I'm seeking? Is it a sugar substitute? I don't know. I need to go with it and see where it takes me, because I have to be aware that often when I'm reaching for something like that, there's an underlying reason. So yeah, £1 gain I think is quite fair. That takes me to 8 stone 11.5, which is not a bad place to be. Feel comfortable in my clothes, except lots of them are a bit baggy. I tend to be a size smaller on the bottom than the top, and a lot of my clothes are starting to feel a bit baggy in the bottom. But hey, people wear oversized clothes, and it's like a fashion thing, isn't it? Can you do that at 61? Or am I rocking the bad image? I don't know. So, a couple of bits. One bit of news from group that I found actually quite encouraging this morning. For those of you who are watching and are Target members, a bit of breaking news. We have a news flash. From July, there will be new Target member information, leaflet, booklet, I don't know, but it's going to be improved on. Because what we get at the moment, I think, is pretty poor. Slimming World does a good job for weight loss. They put themselves out there as a weight management company, and I think they're stepping up to do something more for those of us who are at Target. Now, whether this just is a replacement Target members book, but they did that only kind of 18 months to 2 years ago. They revised that. So is it going to be more? Are we going to be offered more, and will it be good? So let's all think positive about it, because it's coming in July. And I think that gives a lot of us hope, because once you're at Target, it isn't easy. I'm not going to say it's any harder than losing weight for some people, but I've actually found it. See, I don't say I find this plan hard. I don't want to come on here and emphasise the negatives and say this is hard work, this is hard work. Because if it was that bloody hard work, I tell you what, I wouldn't be doing it. Because I am the laziest bird on this planet. I'm not known for wanting to put myself out, am I, Joe? I'm not a person who approaches hard work easily. I'll shy away from it. And if I was standing in front of you today and saying this plan is hard, this plan is hard, I can tell you what, I'd be back up to 22 stone. Because if it was that hard, I wouldn't do it. I just haven't got willpower, I haven't got staying power. I'm not somebody who's known for tackling long-term stuff. I'm very much a person who loves a project, loves to complete it and loves to move on and do something different. But I don't find Slimming World hard. I'm not saying I find it easy. I find it simple. And I think for me, it's keeping it simple that makes it doable. So if I found it hard work, I can tell you now, in all honesty, hand on heart, I wouldn't be doing it. Right, a couple of other bits, and then I'm going to move on to talking about something else. The jam from last week, absolutely gorgeous. But by Monday I had to put it in the bin. Because I started off putting 1 teaspoon on each cracker, like half a sin. By the next day I was putting 2 teaspoons on each cracker. By the third day I was putting 3 teaspoons on each cracker because it was so nice. Now okay, I can do that, but I don't really want to be spending 4.5 sins on jam at the start of the day. again, it's the sugar. And although it had a very, very low percentage, only 2 point something percent of sugars, which were natural sugars, is still sugar. And I can't say that I'm perfect when it comes to saying I have no sugar, because I do have sugar. I have low sugar. But if I'm looking to start my day with 4.5 sins worth of jam, I'm on the wrong track. So as nice as it was, and I knew Joe wouldn't eat it because he eats fresh strawberries, not jammed strawberries. As nice as it was, it hit the bin on Monday morning, because by Tuesday would it have been 4 teaspoons on each cracker, and then some and then some? No, it was playing with my head, so it had to go. The ketchup Joe has now tried, so give us your feedback, Joe. Good, bad or indifferent?
Great.
Great, it's good.
It's great, yeah. Couldn't tell the difference.
So you
between the 50% and that one.
So you felt there was no real difference?
Yeah, not really, no.
Now I don't know what the sins were on the 50% one, because we never sinned it, because I didn't use it, only Joe used it. But last week I did say you got 80 grams for half a sin. I actually got that wrong. It should have been 60 grams for half a sin on the sugar-free and salt-free one. And for 60 grams you're looking at approximately, maybe not exactly, but 60 grams is going to be approximately 4 level tablespoons. You'd have to weigh it out, but you're looking there or thereabouts, 4 level tablespoons for half a sin. So yeah, I'm assuming by now it will be moving around the different supermarkets.
If the 50% one is Heinz tomato ketchup, reduced sugar and salt, 1 tablespoon is half a sin.
Right. The new one's not on the app yet, is it?
I don't think so, no.
But we did work it out as we put it through the sin calculator, and you'd be wise to do the same thing, don't just take our word for it. We put it through the sin calculator, it came out at 3.5 sins for the entire 425 gram bottle. So that would be 60 grams for half a sin, as opposed to a tablespoon is usually around 15 grams. But check it out for yourselves if you want to buy it and try it, and it is £2 in Asda.
£1.50.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
Did you check?
Yeah,
Did you go back and check?
Yeah, we said £2 last week, but when I was there, I saw it and it was £1.50.
Oh, great! That's even better. And does it say new on the shelf?
No.
No?
I'm not even sure if it's that new. I've only just noticed it.
Yeah, we've not seen it in the other supermarkets, so it's new to us. Right, I have a week this week. I've had a week this week of kind of sorting out and clearing out. One of the reasons behind this is because now I am 2.25 years at Target, or will be next weekend. One of the things I'm finding with the plan is, as much as I love the food and everything, there are no more kind of awards, achievements, goals, motivations. There aren't as many. Once you get to where you're going, there aren't as many as there are when you're coming down. And the one thing I found about losing weight on this plan was having goals, having half stone awards, having, I wanted to lose 100 pounds, I wanted to lose 150 pounds, I wanted to lose whatever. And at my actual final target, all of those things give you the momentum to keep going. Well, once you're at target and you've been there or thereabouts for quite a long time, I think that eventually, well, I'm only talking about me, but for me, eventually I started to kind of sit in a rut, and you get up every day and you do it again, but then it becomes not boring, but it becomes a bit pointless. Because eventually, when you've dwelt in a slimmer body, like I've been in this body, or coming down and through my weight losses to where I am now, for a good long while, because I'm 3 years at group next week. And once you've dwelt in a smaller body for some time, you kind of lose some of those memories of what it was like to be in a much bigger body. Because I'm sure if I'd have been standing in front of you here at 22 stone rather than 8 stone, 11 and a half, I could put my hands down like that and I feel quite straight and slim. I used to be more like that, to put my hands down my side. I really did. Used to be much more like that would have been my shape. As I say, you start to take it for granted. You lose sight of where you've come from a little bit. And I suppose for me, because I can't see, I can't just pick up the old photos and go, oh God, yeah, that's what I used to look like. So I haven't got some of that. But I've developed a real liking for clothes on this journey, because for many, many years there was just nothing I could buy, nothing I could wear. I'm not going to get into the whole size issue around clothes. Personally, I think, you know, it was a good job that I couldn't walk into any shop and buy a size 26, because I would have never had the initiative then to get the weight off. I'd have been stuck in that rut and thought, I'll make do. This week, to kind of get myself fired up again, because we're coming towards the summer season, I decided to tackle my wardrobe and have a bit of a clear out. So on the sofa, which is over there, there's a mountain of clothes. Some of them I've got kind of ideas of people I'd like to send them to, and I'm going to look into doing that this week. But one of the things I had when I was on the journey, or at the end of my journey, I put £1 away for every pound in weight that I lost on my journey. And when I got to almost Target, so I bought this jacket in the October before I got to Target in the December. I needed it for an occasion. I bought what I call my Target jacket. This is, it's from Joules, but I bought it in a high street shop, but it's made by Joules. And it's lovely, it feels lovely, it's sort of wool, and it's grey, and it's got pink, blue, white, yellow specks in it, flecks in the wool. Nice pockets, single vent at the back, and I love the lining, because I don't know if it's going to come across on camera. Is it colourful, Joe?
Yeah, it's like pink and blue. Yeah.
Pink and blue, but it's different aspects of London. So you've got Nelson's Column, London Bus. What else can you say?
There's the guys with the hats.
The beef eaters type chaps with the big busbies.
Is that what they're called? Beef eaters?
Something like that. You've got big busbies on.
People on horseback, taxis, British, like the British Union Jack.
Yeah. But it is, I love it, absolutely love this jacket. But my problem now is, I'll put it on, it's too big. Way too big. It's like I'm wearing somebody else's coat, and it's too big in the arms and it's too big in the shoulders. But I love it. I mean, look, it just don't fit me anymore. And going through my wardrobe this week, I found so many things that, although I was, I think, £5 away from my first Target when I bought this jacket, it actually says it's a size 18. Believe me, it's not. It's more of it's a 16 if it's anything. Because I would have bought this jacket. I wore this jacket when I was 11 stone 4. I've worn it once. So I was at that point like £5 or £6 away from my first Target. I was not a size 18 because when I joined Slimming World at 13 stone 8, I was a size 16 and I rapidly went down to a 14. But I'm busty as opposed to heavy on the hips. So I would say this jacket is a size 16. And I absolutely love it, and it's too big. And I can't get it changed because of where the pockets go to the seams and all this sort of thing. So, anybody got any ideas what I should do with my jacket, my Target jacket? I'm open to ideas and suggestions. Okay? I love it. But what I'm going to do to keep myself motivated on this journey, for the whole of my adult life, I have wanted a Harris tweed jacket. Now, some of you will know what Harris tweed is, and some of you might not have a clue because you're not interested, but it's a tweed fabric made in Harris, which is the Isle of Lewis, the Outer Hebrides, and it has every colour in it that represents the Highlands, or that part of the Highlands. It's got reds and blues and greens and all different colours. And I'm sure there must be different tweeds because I think you can get it in different colours. But I'm going to do my homework to make sure I get the one that I remember. Right, I can't see it now, but I can remember it. And then I'm going to find myself a bespoke tailor in the Nottingham area. So again, if anybody knows of a really, really, really good tailor in the Nottingham area, I'd like to know about it. And then with the help of that tailor, I am going to design and have made a bespoke Harris tweed jacket to become my ultimate Target jacket, because that one can't stay, because that one's, it's in the past. And I want a jacket made for the autumn and winter for this year. And that is going to be a project for me, but it's also going to be some motivation to stay in the size of body that I'm in. Because if I'm going to pay a few £100 for a jacket, it's got to last me a few years, so I've got to stay the size I am. So all in all, yeah, it's been a good week. Haven't got a lot of walking in again this week, have we? We're so short of time these days. It's fitting things in around other things. And actually when we're both free at the same time, which doesn't always work. But that's something I need to get towards, doing a bit more exercise. Can you pass my hula hoop, Joe?
Yeah.
Please.
You're at 21 minutes, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I was watching a video by Helen from the Living Stones the other day, and thanks for the mention, because Helen actually mentioned me on the video because she was talking about the coloured eggs. But the other thing that Helen asked for help and advice with was hula hooping, and I did leave you a message, Helen, if you're watching this. I think the trick with hula hooping is to find the right size hoop. Now, I'm 5'2", and you can see this is
You
on
need
the
to
floor.
lift it up a bit.
No, it's sitting on the floor. I want them to see where it comes
Oh,
up
right,
to on
okay.
me to gauge the size of it.
Yeah.
Joe's hoop is much smaller than this, but Joe is stronger than me. He's got really strong core muscles, and to use a hoop that's smaller, you've got to be fit and you've got to be fast to keep it going. This is a German hoop, which we bought on the internet. But if you can gauge the size of it against a 5'2" person, that's when you go to buy your hoop, be aware it's not just the weight that matters. This hoop is quite light. When I first started, I had one of the really heavy, thick hoops, and then I had one of the really heavy, thick hoops with the fluted insides, and believe me, that made me black and blue. So I had to give that up and give it away. This hoop is amazing. It works. So if you want to get into hula hooping, I can keep this going for like 3/4 of an hour now, no problem. I think that's the biggest tip. Go for the right size, and don't imagine you've got to get a small hoop, because I can hoop fast with this, but I can also hoop slow, and I can speed it up and drop it down. So yeah, Helen, if you're watching, it's all about size, love. Right, I'm going. Fabulous week. We're going to go on forward into next week. We have no massive plans for this week, do we?
No.
Don't think I've got anything overwhelming to do with eating out and drinking out. Just my usual choices, going out with friends, doing what I normally do, and saying no when I need to. But you know what? Something, I was listening to the Minimalists this week, and something they said that really helped me. I'm very good when I eat out or go out for coffee and things with my friends at saying no thank you. So if they're having, like one of my friends would have scrambled egg and smoked salmon on toast.
But don't make time out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something. I'm very good at saying no thank you, I don't want that. But the one thing I'm learning now is to be able to say no thank you to myself. So when that voice in my head is going, get a bar of chocolate, have a biscuit, get some cake, I can actually say out loud, no thank you. So I'm saying it to Jane, no thank you, Jane. And that is really helping me. So might it help you? Right, we're off before we run out of time. We'll see you next Saturday. Have a great week. Remember, works if you work it, won't if you don't. Bye.